Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I am your host, Davin James. I'm glad to be here with all of you guys here today. If you're new here, as per usual, just a quick reminder to please like, subscribe and comment to my channel, as it helps a bunch of the YouTube algorithm, and it helps me a lot as well because then it shows YouTube that you enjoy my content, which then helps YouTube promote my content a little bit more. So with that being said, please like, subscribe and comment as I just mentioned. And with that being said, let's get on with today's episode, shall we? Okay, so one of my most anticipated games for this year is Spider-Man 2 from Insomniac. Now, originally, back when the first Spider-Man game came out, which was like 2018 if I'm not mistaken, I had no idea who Insomniac was in terms of the game developers. I had never heard of them before, wasn't familiar with any of their content. I just knew that they were putting out a Spider-Man game. So that got me excited because I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, despite the fact that I'm wearing like a Bruce Wayne Batman t-shirt right now, but that's a different story. But no, I have been a huge Spider-Man fan for like many years, since I was a kid. I didn't grow up with the comics, but I grew up watching like the animated series, like the 90s animated series. I watched all the Tobey Maguire movies, I watched the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies, I watched the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. So I follow Spider-Man wherever he goes, for the most part. Whether it's video games, movies, TV, if I was to happen again, like an animated series or whatever, I would follow Spider-Man there, regardless of who's playing him. I got nothing against the comics, it's just like, I just don't find myself much of a reader. I just don't find myself spending much time reading, even though I probably should, because it helps a bunch, with the mind and whatnot. But I just don't really find the time to really read comics or books that often, even though I'm trying to devote more time into doing such things like that. So, when I found out the game was like a massive success, Spider-Man 1 that is, and then came the spin-off Miles Morales, and then came a remastered version of Spider-Man 1 from Insomniac for PlayStation 5 this time, with a brand new actor as well, which was quite weird. I'm not going to go into that because that was not a huge controversy, but it was a weird phenomenon. Like, why have you changed the actor's face? Like, same game, but different console, in a sense. Different technology used. So I was like, okay, whatever. But once I found out the game was a success and they were going to make a Spider-Man 2, I was initially excited. And then San Diego Comic-Con happened back in the summer this year, and PlayStation finally revealed the first look at the game, and I was blown away by what I saw. I was like, yes, brilliant, I'm excited. I don't actually need to see anything to do with the game, I just need to know the release date, and that's it. That's all I needed to know. So right now, the game's scheduled to come out on the 20th of October, so this year that is, so I'm very excited for that. We're just like a month away. And right now, a bunch of reactions for the video game has come out. So I wanted to dive into some of these reactions, reviews, whatever you want to call them, and give my little thoughts on, well, not my thoughts, I have not played the game, but just to share my excitement even more for the game, I wanted to show you guys some of the reviews that's come out so far to do with Spider-Man 2. So what's basically happened is that some critics were invited to play like a 3-hour demo of the game in a private event sponsored by PlayStation and Insomniac Games in places like Los Angeles, California, and in London, England. And they're very lucky people, I might add. Very, very lucky people. There's not many times I wish to be a critic or a journalist, whatever it may be, but there's certain times I'm like, damn it, just damn it, I wish that was me. Even though I can't wait to play the full game in general, but there's little things like this, I'm like, I wish that was me, just a little bit of luck. But one gaming journalist, critic, whatever you want to call him, in Gadget Gaming, had a brief but yet filling reaction to the Spider-Man sequel, saying, Spider-Man 2 is following the Sony sequel playbook, and I'm not mad about it. Now, I'm not really sure what exactly that means by following the Sony sequel playbook. That's not a bad thing, but it doesn't really give you much of a opinion in a sense. Like, I'm not really sure what this person's saying, but he's not happy. He's not mad about it, so which is a good thing. So it's a positive retrospect on what he's saying. Canadian video game journalist and the Game Awards host Jeff Keighley, or Keighley, I don't know if I butchered his last name, I do apologise. He offered his praise to the game with him calling Marvel Spider-Man 2 the best superhero game of all time. Interesting comments. I wouldn't know. I played most of the video games, in terms of superhero. Like, I played the Arkham games, the Batman Arkham games. I played some of the earlier video games, like the early 2000s, like Marvel tie-in video games. Some Batman-related video games was just like his own little thing. What else? I played the Marvel's Avengers, which was not great, unfortunately. I was really disappointed by that, but it is what it is. So I played a lot of Marvel, not just Marvel, but superhero video games. But right now, I would call Insomniac's Spider-Man franchise one of the greatest superhero games so far. They've done a really great job on these games, and they put a lot of work and effort into these games to make them spectacular, no pun intended, spectacular Spider-Man. So I'm really impressed with what they've done so far, and I cannot wait to jump back in with Spider-Man 2 when that eventually comes out in October. So this person, Jeff, he says, after playing 3 hours of Marvel's Spider-Man 2, my hype has only increased. Insomniac has delivered what may end up being the best superhero game of all time. The gameplay is so fluid, the combat is super deep and rewarding, really impressed so far. Which is brilliant. These reviews are just keeping me hyped, you know what I mean? Even though I'm already hyped, I just can't wait to buy the game in general. And I even bought the Spider-Man PS5 controller that came with, not came with the console, but you could get as part of a pre-order, you could get a Spider-Man statue of Venom, 19 inches of Venom. Take that with what you will. Which I didn't pre-order. I should have probably pre-ordered that, but I was I'm going to miss out on that. But it also came a Spider-Man 2 controller, and then came a Spider-Man skin for the PS5 console, which I cannot get anywhere. They currently sold out everywhere, which sucks. The only way I could possibly get it if I was to put up the money to buy another PS5, which I really did not want to do. That's £507. And I'm happy with the console I got now. Regardless of how it looks, skin or no skin, Spider-Man skin that is, I don't really want to fork out a lot of money to go buy another console when there's nothing wrong with the console I got now. You know what I mean? It just seems reckless and stupid in terms of money spending to do something like that. But hopefully, once the game comes out, there'll be more skins available you can buy separate from the console. So here's hoping. So Game Riot also hyped up Spider-Man 2 by pointing out that everything is bigger and better. I'm so excited to play more Spider-Man 2. It is everything you want for a sequel. Everything is bigger and better, and I was already hooked with the story and was gutted when my demo have stopped. Thanks again to PlayStation UK for the invite. Gizmo's German loser, I don't know how you pronounce that. Again, I apologise if I butcher any names. It's confident that Spider-Man 2 will exceed expectations once it releases. Now that I've played a few hours of it, I'm extremely confident that Spider-Man 2 is not just going to be the best of the three, but it may be the best superhero game ever, which we've heard already in the previous comment, or opinion rather. Hollow Pointy encouraged gamers to believe the hype surrounding Spider-Man 2. I played Spider-Man 2 early, believe the hype. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is the best superhero game I have ever played, truly a next-gen gaming experience. Daniel Baptista, of the movie podcast, admitted that Spider-Man 2 was the coolest game he had ever played. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is the coolest game I've ever played and is about to be the best superhero game ever made. Insomniac games have outdone themselves once again. It's a lot of the best superhero game ever made comments going around, which, in some ways that would normally like have me worried in a sense. Okay, so you're putting a lot of expectations up on the line here when it comes to this game, and that's a lot to live up to in a sense. The best superhero game of all time, especially when you got the Batman Arkham games, which I consider the greatest trilogy of superhero games, or the best superhero games of all time for the most part. But I'm confident that Spider-Man 2 is going to be a massive game in terms of success and in terms of popularity as well, which kind of goes into success, but never mind. Mobile Syrup's Brad Shanker was in awe after playing the game, noting that Spider-Man 2 was far grander in scope with jaw-dropping set pieces, but still has heartfelt moments that define the titular hero. I played Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and one of the best demos I've ever experienced. Far greater in scope with jaw-dropping set pieces, but still full of heartfelt moments that define Spider-Man. I'm still in awe. And this is another thing I want to read as well. The game's map. Holy crap. So, a lot of people liked the map in Spider-Man 1, but felt like it could have been a bit bigger. I can't remember which part of New York it took place. I think it was just Queens, New York in the first one. And a lot of people, like, they were satisfied with it, but they wanted more. And there was a certain piece of the map which you could not explore to whatsoever, which was quite weird. They released like DLCs, like about 3 DLCs I think it was. So many people felt, okay, so maybe this is part of a DLC. I don't think it was. And then we had Miles Morales come out for PS5, and I think that was his own separate thing, but connected to Spider-Man as well. And that took place in Brooklyn, New York, if I remember correctly. So that was a completely different map of that area. So yeah, it was quite weird how they had this one part of the map that you could explore, but there's other part you couldn't explore. So maybe that's something what they're doing here. They're just making it bigger. Let me just find where else. Yeah, here you go. The game's expensive map also gives players a chance to spend even more time in New York, offering an incredible opportunity to save random civilians, complete side missions. It makes themselves feel much like talked about story. Okay, that doesn't actually talk about what I was thinking about, but never mind. But what I've seen so far in terms of like a gameplay video that was released like at the time of this recording, I think last week, the map looks really big, which I'm really excited about. And I guess you get to see more of New York, which I'm really excited about, because actually New York is one of my favourite cities. Despite not being from the US, I've never actually gone to New York before. New York is a fascinating city for me. I don't know why, but it just looks so full of life, and it looks like a city where you would want to explore. You know, it's like what many people say, the London's answer. Well, New York is the answer to the UK's London in a sense, even though I'm not from England. But I've heard that expression before. Like, that actually kind of makes sense. For what I've heard about London and how busy that is, and what I've heard about New York and how busy and chaotic that is, it actually kind of makes sense and it kind of goes hand in hand in some ways. But nonetheless, I am very excited for Marvel Spider-Man 2 to come out. I cannot wait for this game. Originally, my highly anticipated game, well, I had 2 highly anticipated games for this year. Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which was very impressive. I love that game very much. I'm still playing it now, doing like the collectibles, cleanup and whatnot. And also Spider-Man 2 was also one of my anticipated games. But I just had to make sure the game was actually coming up this year, first of all, before I could one of my anticipated games for this year. So once I got that confirmation that it was coming up this year, I'm like, yes, okay, give me this game. You know what I mean? Like, give it to me now. I'm so excited. You know, I can't express how much I love the Spider-Man character. Yes, he's got cool powers and whatnot, but what I like about him the most is what people say in these reviews. Yes, there's some fun action set pieces and whatnot, but then it's still a lot of heartfelt moments, which is what really helps people connect with Spider-Man. Because if you strip away the powers, Peter Parker is still a regular person like you and I. He struggles with rent. He struggles with friendships, relationships. He's not the most confident person out there. He doesn't have, he's not rich. He's not a rich billionaire. He's a regular person like you and I. We can relate to him. We can relate to his struggles in a sense. We can relate to the pain he goes through when it comes to like family, relationships, whatever it may be. So it makes him more of a grounded character in some ways, and it makes him more like a passionate character for some people to really grow up with, especially for young kids as well. I suppose younger kids will probably focus more on the powers and abilities and the supervillains and whatnot. But really, when you think about it, it's the Peter Parker side of things as well that really connects with us the most, at least in my opinion anyway. And going back to the game developers Insomniac for 1 minute, they've also got another Marvel video game in the works, currently in development, which is Marvel's Wolverine from the X-Men comics. And I cannot express how excited I am for this game. When I first saw this image in the trailer that released like last year before that, I think it was, when the claws come out, that got me so incredibly emotional in a good way. I didn't cry, I was like, yes, Wolverine, hell yes, give me that. Because Wolverine is such a badass character. And he's such a monster as well in some ways. So it's like, you give me this character and you let me go full rage mode sort of thing, you let me put holes in people's souls and whatnot, then we're going to have a lot of good things to do in this game. Not much is known about it at the moment. It's still in the development phase. One of the people that worked on Marvel's Spider-Man recently confirmed that they were now going to be turning their attention to Wolverine. So I'm very excited for that. In terms of, we don't know much about the details about the game. But in terms of release date, I'm thinking maybe a late 2024 release date. And maybe early 2025. But I could be wrong about that. My safe bet would be somewhere between 2025 and maybe 2026. That's my safe bet. The 2024 release date that I just mentioned then, or possible release date, is me speculating. And that's me wishful thinking in a sense, because I don't think it will be out in 2024. But let me know your thoughts if you're a gamer and you're excited for Spider-Man 2 to come out in PlayStation. I do think as well that it would have made more sense for both Spider-Man 1 and Miles Morales to be released on Xbox as well. I think in terms of a financial situation, the game, don't get me wrong, the games have done well. But I think it would be even better if you actually release it for loads on Xbox as well, because then you got even bigger money into your pocket, and the game's going to make even more huge amount of money. At least that's how I feel anyway. I know some other people share that opinion. I don't know what the reasoning is for them not wanting to put the game onto Xbox for a reason. But I think it's a sort of missed opportunity, but at the same time, not so much, because still a lot of people on PlayStation are going to play the game and they're going to have a lot of fun with the game as well. But I just think it makes more sense as well to put it on Xbox. That way you got a much bigger release as well, and it puts more money involved as well. So, that's my opinion on things. But either way, that's the episode here today, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you really enjoyed this episode. Until next time, take care, stay safe. I forgot what I was going to say then. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.